SRO just uploaded a dev update, so much like the last one I covered, I'm gonna just do like a little reaction essentially to the video.
Everyone, I'm Cole.
And I think that
on Valve Gameplay.
as far as I know, the
And I'm
changes in
Dan,
this
Valve's Balance
are pretty
designer.
good
We're happy to
for
be
what I've
back
seen.
to take a minute to
So
discuss
we'll have a
where the
look.
game's at heading into the end of the year. These year-end patches are typically the best opportunity for us to make necessary balance adjustments and try new things without disrupting pro play. You can expect the year-end to be a time where you see larger scope changes that are meant to have a substantial impact on the game.
Like last patch, to be fair, like that might actually have a substantial impact, and hopefully there's at least one more coming past this one as well for the off season, because I think it'd be great to like really shake up the meta, and I think the Astra changes at the very least are managing to do that. So
the updates we made to ISO,
at least for
Neon,
competitive play,
Reyna, and Raze have helped us hit our goals overall.
So I guess this was like talking about changing up things, and to be honest, I would say that the ISO changes definitely probably hit their goals, because ISO is actually kind of decently played now. Raze is played a lot less, a bit less at least, and made room for ISO to be played, and maybe a bit of Neon to be played as well. Neon got played a lot more in competitive play, I would say, than you see her in ranked, but I think that she still does get seen in ranked. And I think Reyna has been, funnily enough, has been played less due to ISO kind of taking her role in some cases, but we still see a lot of Reyna because, it's Reyna in ranked. Although I think when she is played, she is marginally less useless than what she normally is. I am still very much a Reyna hater. I think she really needs a rework to actually be useful. But we'll see what happens,
ISO initially.
Maybe eventually we'll get one.
The duelist
that actually
ecosystem
makes
is
it
in a pretty
useful.
healthy and varied state for the most part.
And we think this push and pull is a totally normal part of live balance with competitive games. We want to ship more patches throughout the year, but we also want to ship them in a way so that they're not overly disruptive.
So if you ship patches and they're not overly disruptive, what's the point in the patch? I say overly disruptive. Okay, I guess you use overly, to be fair. Like, I guess they don't want patches to be like too crazy, because when you're like preparing, like for instance, like a competitive team, right? If they're preparing for a tournament and then all their preparation is completely void because the meta changes so drastically, it's not exactly a great thing for the game. So I understand that part. But at the same time, there's no much point in making patches or like creating patches, changing the game if they don't actually change the game. Like, there's no point in like shifting around the scales and just like it being completely meaningless, right? Because what's the point in shipping a patch at that point? So, and I guess you can do patches that are like only affect solo queue and don't affect pro play, but I can guarantee to you that they will misstep and they will create patches. They will have like changes that will affect solo queue a lot and then will bleed into competitive play. Maybe even to like a massive point, like we saw most recently with ISO. I think ISO really was aimed at being more useful in solo queue, but he got so good. He was so good that he did bleed into competitive play. And I think that's like the type of misstepping that might happen if they actually do a lot more patches. On the bright side, when they do a lot more patches, they also have a lot more chance to fix those patches because they're uploading more, they're like doing more things. They're changing more stuff.
We are still working on.
So just see what happens with that. I think.
Opportunistic changes within the
I do personally like more changes overall, though. Just bear in mind, I do like more changes overall.
Some other spots on the roster that
but I also think it is a careful balance with the competitive integrity of the game as well.
Tuning, particularly among some of our weaker sentinels and our controllers. We know a lot of you.
Wait, sorry.
Planning some other opportunistic changes within the duelist roster. But we also see some other spots on Phoenix, and we're planning some other opportunistic changes within the duelist roster. But we also see some other spots on the roster that are in need of some tuning, particularly among some of our weaker sentinels and our controllers.
Okay, so I was too busy yapping to know, but so Phoenix is going to get potential changes soon, and I'm guessing weaker sentinels and controllers are going to be Harbor and Sage. Those are the two weakest, like they're pretty much the weakest characters in the game, or very close to. Because Sage is so situational with two of her abilities, she has like no agency of her own in the game. She basically only has the wall and marginally with the slows. Like, she is actually kind of existing in the games, but she isn't really that strong by herself, and way too situational. With Harbor, he's also kind of in that boat where he is way too heavily influenced by team play and like coordination and things. So in solo queue, he's completely useless, and even in like competitive play, when he has to function by himself, he can struggle. Like, it's on the player themselves to really overplay the situation to make Harbor equal to other agents in that situation, if that makes sense. So, like, for instance, defending a site, anchoring a site on Harbor, what's the point in doing that when you can just pick Viper? And yeah, like that's the thing, right? So they really need to find a way for Harbor to be useful by himself, and they need to find a way for Sage to be useful without having to play around certain situations, such as healing your teammate or rezzing a teammate that's in a good position. Although, mainly with Sage, it's dangerous when she's strong, so we'll have to see what happens. I hope they are very careful with what they do with Sage.
We know a lot of you will be expecting Harbor changes with this patch, but unfortunately they're taking a little bit longer since we think he needs larger scope work, and we're still exploring our options.
Honestly, that's fair. That's fair. Because he's going to be quite hard to balance, probably, or quite hard to deal with in terms of, like, making the changes actually useful, or actually good, and balanced, not too strong.
Patch 905, we made some changes to Astra and Chamber. For Astra, we wanted to improve her total utility output compared to other controllers.
We're also buffing the air.
We improved.
Yeah, okay. Talk about Chamber. Yeah, so I've already gone over this stuff, but essentially the TLDR is Ares good. It's pretty good to buy. It's definitely better than it was, and it might be really strong, to be honest, in a lot of situations. And the other thing is Chamber and Astra are both stronger. Astra's definitely more for competitive play, and Chamber's definitely more for solo queue. So yeah, that's basically it. That's the TLDR of my previous video.
You can also expect changes to Phoenix, Sage, Cypher, and Gecko.
So these are the changes that are going to be upcoming, I think he said. So yeah, Phoenix and Sage, they're getting buffs, for sure. And Cypher and Gecko are going to get nerfs, probably for sure. Maybe side grades. Gecko's going to get cooldown stuff, probably, if I had to have a guess. Like, it's going to be like 15 seconds, 20 seconds, maybe, for when he picks up his stuff. Because he is super, like, oppressive with his util. And Cypher, I'm not actually sure what Cypher's going to get. Maybe a bit more, maybe he might get range. There's no way he gets range. He might get range. That'd be crazy if he got range on his util. But it might be, I imagine it's a nerf to his trips, or it's a nerf to his spy cam. And honestly, kind of as per usual, really, to be honest, with one of those nerfs. But it's probably going to be trips. It's probably going to be range on the trips, maybe a revert back to his old range.
Might be some other fun things
might be the play.
Patch 910, but we'll update you on that more later.
But before we go, we mentioned on our socials that you'd all see a new map rotation.
Okay, this is the part I heard a bit before.
Icebox and Lotus are out, and Split and Pearl are...
Oh no, sorry. I have heard a bit of this already. But yeah, I like Split and Pearl. Sorry, I like Pearl. I don't like Split, and I like the two maps rotating out. So kind of sucks.
More specifically,
this is the part I've heard about. So the sunset changes.
We're adjusting B site to make it more
So B site is, he said, more defensible.
Defensible at a baseline.
More defensible at a baseline. Do I agree with that? You know, I'm not sure if I do. Is this going to be more defensible at a baseline? I mean, this pod doesn't really show it. This wall doesn't do too much. This box, I think, is away from the wall, right? So this angle might be a thing for defenders. I'm not sure what the back part looks like over there. I don't know what the main looks like. I don't know what market looks like. So I don't know if it is. What I can tell from this image, though, is that this is going to be easier for defenders to plant. And when it comes to post-plant, defenders will have a bit of an easier time retaking, I think. At least from this screenshot. I don't know anything else about the site yet. But essentially this wall means that you can't get, like... There's, like, it used to be with this wall that someone could pop up at any point in the wall and kill someone up here. But this wall stops that from happening. So now it can only happen in this portion of the wall. So that's quite big. It also might mean that you might see smokes get placed here on retakes. Because then it means that they can get out of CT without having to worry about any of the angles. Like, they have to only worry about these angles in the back of the site. And not worry about anything, like, over here, basically. Another thing as well, with the retakes, is that there's no longer this 50-50 when you go down the stairs of looking market and looking into this corner. You only have to look market now because the corner's over here. So that 50-50 has been removed. Although I think this position is actually better for attackers now than it used to be. Because now it's a bit more untradeable because these players have to move further to trade the market player. So it is a tiny bit better, tiny bit more defensible position here. Also on the retake as well, if you want to do the spam from main, which I'm assuming main got touched, because there's no way that main can stay the same as it was with these changes as well. But yeah, I'm guessing, so you can plant here, and if you can spam it, it means that they can no longer get into this corner to dodge the spam. They have to move this way. Just a very, very small side note, but that is a thing, right?
Defensible at a baseline.
And I think this box has changed, which we'll see now, I guess.
Spot
Yeah. That'd be so fast. So fast? Okay. So there's a 50-50 angle they've added to CT. So basically, they've removed one 50-50 angle mid-sight and added it to CT. So it means that this smoke is definitely going to be useful, because there's literally a 50-50 here. So this smoke is actually probably going to be quite useful to eliminate an angle. So then you have to worry about this 50-50 anyway, to be fair. But at the same time, yeah, it's going to be quite good to have a smoke here. There's also a off angle here. So you can, not an off angle, but there's an angle here. So you can play like a crossfire from stairs from these positions like this. That's quite good. This is wallbangable, so you can't just like sit behind here. It's very similar to the Haven backside. Haven backside on C with the toolbox, right? And people sit behind it and get wallbanged. This is literally the same thing, but instead of the entrance being like over here and like kind of looking at it like this, it's actually not looking at it at all. It's like a 50-50 angle. So it is a bit stronger of a position because it's harder to spray this box because you have to be outside, like out the choke point, right? It's not a safe position to spray from. So it's not exactly the easiest thing to spray. So I think this is more attack sided. Like this area is definitely more attack sided. It's like more compelling for the attackers to play on site, which is kind of what they need to do when a site like B is like super compelling to play off site, to play like main and spray.
B main to reduce some of that post plant.
Okay, so they're changing B main. Oh, and they've actually done the right change. So this change, the only thing really that I think was super required out of what I've just seen was removal of this middle box over here, right? Everyone knows this middle box. That middle box was making post plants significantly harder because they could basically use cover and still spray the bomb. It was diabolical how strong it was. They've made this also thinner, so there's less angles available, like out of main technically. Also in general, harder. It's easier to like trap people in here when they're like coming out. So this is actually like the more defensible. So that's like the what we were talking about before, right? About it being more defensible. Something else about it as well is this corner is a lot safer to like maneuver with market. So this player is going to be a bit safer, and it's also more viable for the market player to move into this corner to then potentially fight or like fight with you basically, because this angle is just a bit safer. I don't think there's a Cypher trip available here. This might be too long range. Maybe if there's like a certain angle with like some of these like weird corners, maybe it can fit there potentially. Don't know though. Don't know without testing. I imagine because of this pillar, it can't do it on this pillar. So yeah, I don't think it's actually viable there. The one that is viable is probably off this wall over here somewhere. But it really makes a big difference if it's on this part of the wall or if it's on the inside part of the wall. Because if it's on this part, it's shootable. If it's on this part, it's not shootable. So it looks like it's going to be the one that's shootable though, judging by this screenshot. But I don't know. But that's a massive difference. Anyway, this box also is really strong for the defenders retaking, right? Because instead of having a 50-50 angle when you go into main, you can go across this wall and you don't have to worry about anything over here, and you can just clear this angle first, and then you can start worrying about what's behind you. So this box is there for the defenders. It also like makes the trap space a bit bigger as well, in terms of like where you can like the leniency of the trap, right? Because yeah, there's just like an additional part of the wall there to block them in. So yeah.
We'll also be making
pretty good changes overall, and there's also one more for mid. So current mid is very weird. This stone thing is really weird.
Some defender options when
and they have changed it. What did they change? What did they change?
Some defender
is it like
when
smaller? Wait, they've moved it.
Mid to add some defender options when
so they've moved this way, and it looks like there's like an additional trim. So there might be like this might be a fountain. They might have made this a fountain, like a water basin on this, like here, and a tap up here. They might have done that. Not sure what that really changes, but this might be not wallbangable anymore. Judging by the way it looks now, it might not be wallbangable anymore. Not really a massive change. The bigger change is definitely over here. It's a bit more of a safer area for the defenders to come out of market and fight for mid. It's not great still. definitely more of like a chamber area to be in. Like chamber can get out there for free kind of and TP away. This is definitely still like a chamber angle, but it's definitely better. It's like more pressured for the attackers to come and clear this, right? Because there's an angle that someone could be sneakily in there basically. So it's basically going to punish attackers that aren't thoroughly clearing this. And that's like the kind of the extent of it really, because it's also wallbangable as well, so it's not even great cover. So yeah, it's okay. It's better than what it was before. I think with all these changes, I think all the changes are positive for Sunset. I think these are all positive changes. I like all the changes.
Feedback on map rotations.
Because I think that the B site's going to be a lot more fun to play. Then there's a lot more depth to how you're going to play this site, both in retake and actually taking the site. Because of the attacker 50-50 as well. If I go back, I don't think I mentioned it, but thinking about it, there's an attacker 50-50 over here as well.
Some of that post-plant gameplay.
Here, attacker 50-50. So someone with a shotgun could be sitting here, neck train could be sitting here, like that kind of stuff, right? Or you can have two players sitting either side, right? One gets clear, one doesn't. So it's really, really important for you to have good like recon, basically. A good initiator like Prowlers, Sova, that kind of stuff, to actually clear these angles out. To make sure you're not just running into 50-50s. So yeah, I do really like the map design of Sunset now.
We're looking at updating our schedule and cadence of map rotations going
forward. And the mid one's pretty
good
too.
We'll share more details with you when the next pool goes live with the 908.
Okay, cool.
But for now, we want to hand things over to Brittany Perez on the anti-cheat
Okay,
team
so there's anti-cheat stuff. But I want to know about the ranked rollbox more than the anti-cheat stuff, because I'm terrible.
6 games. Valorant's debut on console marks the cheats like input spoofing, aka zimming. We've done a pretty good job.
Like that's console stuff, so talking about console.
If the Vanguard team is so good, how are the cheaters able to strive to block cheats outright, but when immediately blocking a cheat? While we agree that the delay isn't ideal, it's an integral ingredient for your anti-cheat chefs.
Okay.
We're happy to.
I'll be real, the reason why I just skip through all that stuff is because I have no clue about any of the anti-cheat stuff. I just trust them to do what they're doing, and honestly, it seems pretty good. I've never run into a cheater in the, 4 years I play Valorant? Christ, it's been 4 years, I'm old.
Announce that Valorant is working on implementing ranked rollbacks.
Okay, this is the part I want to hear about.
If you played and lost a game with a cheater on the other team, and that cheater was later banned, you'll receive a refund of any RR lost.
Right, so that's really good.
Battle, and despite our
so the reason why they don't do it they don't take away RR away, sorry, English, they don't take RR away when you're on a team with a cheater is because if you just randomly queue and you're with a cheater, it's going to feel really bad when you lose RR in the future because you just so happen to queue into them. Like, it's not really your fault you queued with the cheater. If you're like in a party with a cheater, that's a whole different thing. And I'm guessing they have like things like sanctions for that too, probably, but I don't know about them. But if you just so happen to be queued with a cheater, it really sucks to then have your R taken away. So that's probably why they're not going to do that type of stuff. But it's super, super good when you lose because of a cheater and then you get your RR back. Because it just feels better to gain RR in that situation than it does to accidentally play with a cheater and lose RR. So I understand it working this way. So that's great. That's great.
Manage the player
okay, so what's this? Player behavior.
When Anna made her statement about keeping our community healthy a couple of months ago, penalties received for comms abuse. And we've
in the next 30 days, in the next 30 days, finalize updates to existing policies to focus on stronger, faster penalties for severe behavior. This is like toxicity stuff, yeah? Oh wait, they're going to do like a full thing, aren't they? I'm going to look at the end of it.
And we started a beta.
Okay, big. So, in the next 30 days, finalize updates to existing policies, introduce new penalties for severe harmful player behavior, including hardware bans. That's crazy. Increasing support for manual reviews to support these policies. They're going to have manual reviews for, this is, I guess, is for the, because it's not for typing, this is for voice, I'm guessing. Yeah, voice evaluation. One-time review of the top suspected offenders from the previous act and issue penalties accordingly. Expanding the rollout of Riot voice evaluation to additional regions later this year. Big. Because honestly, the Riot, like voice chat can be diabolical sometimes. So it's obviously great that they can like police it a bit more. Yeah, this is great. 10 out of 10. But yeah, the cheating stuff is probably obviously a lot more important to hear because cheating is a lot more egregious if it happens on a large scale. So but yeah, it's really good to also as well with Valorant community being mainly made up of like casual players. Like people don't want to just like hear like these dumb people talk about, I don't know, some dumb things on the mic and be toxic. So really great to have all this stuff. Competitive ranks resets. I think I did hear this already, so I'm just going to TLDR it, not waste anyone's time. Basically, I'm pretty sure that
faster than we had anticipated, and the stats behind it didn't quite match up.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure that what's happening is they're going to make ranked resets worth. I'm not sure how they're going to do it.
Ranks and have a more effective rank distribution on console now. Going forward, both console and PC will reset rank at the same cadence, though console players shouldn't expect a change as big as the beta adjustment. We're just getting warmed up. We'll be back soon on our socials with a refresher on Ranked 101, and later to discuss some spicier topics before end of year.
Okay, I played for no reason. I don't know what I was expecting, but basically I'm pretty sure that there's gonna be more things than just the buddies for the ranked resets to make the ranked resets more worth. Because honestly, a buddy, like, I'll be real, who cares? Like it. I mean, I say who cares. To be fair, new players do, and players that are like just getting to their ranks they want, they do. But for players like that have played a long time, like the rank, like they don't do anything. The buddies are just completely useless. So I'm guessing that they might add some, like, maybe they're gonna add a new currency. Maybe they'll give you credits for rank resets. Like, that's the only thing I can imagine them doing. Because I don't think they would do skins like they do in League. Like they do League, they do the Victorious skins. I'm pretty sure that might be called. Are they called Victorious skins? I think so. And they have like promos for each rank, I think, and that kind of stuff. I don't imagine we'll get that for Valorant, where you have like a Vandal skin for like each rank. That would be cool. Whether they actually do that, don't think that's going to happen, to be honest. It probably will just be credits for cosmetics. And that's kind of it for the video, I think. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments about all these changes. I would love to know your thoughts mainly on the gameplay and balance stuff for Sunset. But yeah, if you have any other things like anti-cheat rollbacks or whatever you're looking forward to, really, we'd love to know about that too. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.